Whoa, spoilers. You hate them, right? I hate them myself. Is it really too much to ask that I don't know what happens in a movie until I actually go to see the movie? What's a fan supposed to do when so many factors are conspiring around the clock to actively prevent that from happening? How can you possibly enjoy modern pop culture entertainment and participate in any kind of social media related to a specific fan base or not without risking everything being exposed before you have even had the chance to legally consume it? And how much of it is completely preventable, aka my own stupid fault? Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the Fight Against Spoilers. So there's this really big comic book crossover or HBO or Netflix show or movie featuring a brand you are really into. Anticipation has been building within the fan base for days or months or years for the next big chapter. Even more for you because, man, it's really your thing. That character, that moment, those creatures, that ship. It's a perfect confluence of all the stuff that draws you to and keeps you in that fictional world. The production has been very closely guarded, very secretive. You eagerly await any news about it, its continuation, future plans, new episodes, the action figure line, or anything to keep the fire burning until you can be at peace. Once again, in the moment, snuggling with the actively unfolding narrative, the advancement of the story, and then you scroll past a picture with two dead characters and a caption that says, "Breaking news, what these two character deaths mean for the future of your favorite franchise." What the f***? It's not even out yet. You haven't even had a chance to see it, and now the joy of that experience of being witness to that drama has been stolen from you. You can't unsee it, you can't unread it, you can't stop your stupid brain from already dissecting what it means, how those events change what you already know. And you can't help but wonder if you should even bother trying to see it because there is no impact to anything else that could be a part of that story. Something has been taken from you by someone who doesn't even know you and certainly doesn't care about you or what that property and the experience of that narrative moment might have meant to you. Why do that? Who does that? What could motivate someone to take credit for the work of all the creative people who've spent their lives preparing the conditions for that brand, that story at that moment for you? What are they getting out of it? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, and whatever else people way cooler than me are using these days, it's all the same thing. It's a 24-hour engagement of everyone on the planet all at the same time. A chaotic mass of likes and shares and posts and comments barely held together with the thinnest, superficial structure, curated by no one, regulated by no one, attempting to serve everyone. Kids, adults, fans, haters, sales reps, critics, writers, artists, trolls, crossing boundaries, moving freely in a globally public, but simultaneously intimately individual online experience. It gives everyone access to a marketplace that easily lends itself to quickly moving from the individual experience to the global public experience for fun and profit. You might be using the internet to keep up on official news and share in the fan community of your favorite brand, but someone else is using it for entertainment purposes. And for them, the entertainment value is the joy of ruining yours for fun and profit. Legitimate news websites need new stuff to keep the 24-hour news cycle moving. Everyone is competing for the same advertisers, the same traffic, the same clicks. Beyond that, what even passes for a news source has blurred as the barrier to entry. The ability to look like a news site is so low that anyone with a web connection can do it. You don't need a license, you don't need experience, you don't even have to like the thing you're talking about. The game to be played is about harnessing that flow of traffic, finding ways, finding things to talk about, to post, to tag, to game algorithms to direct that traffic towards themselves and subsequently their bank accounts. The easiest thing in the world to make is something that takes advantage of something someone else has already made. Repackage it, rename it, heck, with a system as chaotic as this one, intentionally misrepresent it as long as the end result, increased traffic, is the same. There is monetary value in being first. Revealing details about highly anticipated, popular franchises with stories that have been developing over time with a large fan base are easy targets, and it is an empowering act to people who are desperate for some sense of self-worth beyond their own personal like or dislike of a franchise to be the one who gets credit for exposing that information to you as if they had any investment in its creation. there is selfish value in being first. Before all of this, before the internet, before Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, social networks were in person and a heck of a lot smaller. The cafeteria at lunchtime, the playground, the water cooler. This was how information traveled, one person at a time. The information that could even be released from any given franchise, any brand, was much easier to control because the information moved slower and there weren't as many outlets. In 1991, if you wanted to know what might happen in the upcoming Batman sequel, Batman Returns, you didn't have many options to seek out news. One or two TV shows, everything else were print publications whose contents were closely vetted by the editorial staff and the studios to ensure that the publication maintained their access to the studio, and the studio maintained their control over the release of information. The only way the contents of a media product could be spoiled was on a face-to-face basis between someone who had seen it and someone who had not. You saw it on Friday night, I'm going on Sunday. It is Saturday, and I don't want to know what happens. It's a lot harder to maliciously ruin someone's anticipation of a thing, their enjoyment of a thing, when you are looking them in the eye and they are asking you not to. It was a lot harder to unintentionally walk into an ongoing conversation that might unintentionally ruin plot details or character appearances. It was rare that anyone ever walked into a room and shouted out the ending of a brand new movie that no one had seen yet. Whose fault is it? Social media participation is technically a voluntary thing. You know going in what the risks are. You know there are people who are going to try to ruin things for you, and you know that it's possible for things to get ruined even if no one is doing it on purpose. Wrong site, wrong link, wrong page. Someone shared a thing that inadvertently showed up in your feed. It happens, and it's not really always someone's fault. The easiest solution is to not be online in the first place. That is increasingly more difficult as more and more of our lives, our jobs, and our non-pop culture related relationships are held in place via our virtual connections to each other. You could just not be interested in anything. I don't watch The Walking Dead, so it can't be spoiled for me. But good luck with that. Everyone has some story, some adventure that they want to keep up on to escape the real world outside every once in a while. You can lessen the impact of potential spoilers by reducing the amount of yourself you have invested in a brand. But that's not a conscious decision that you make as a fan. It is your love for a thing that brought you in the first place. You can't just turn that off. What you can do is turn the tools of social media around and use them to your advantage in ways that help to decrease your exposure to people and sites that might want to spoil something for you. Ultimately, you are the master of your social media domain. You control who you follow, what you visit, in some cases even what words can be displayed in your feed. You have to be actively involved in making sure that your experience is one that is catered to you, and who knows you better than you, other than Cambridge Analytica. Being online, social media, this is the new cafeteria, the new water cooler. The difference is that it's a water cooler that everyone in the world could potentially be hanging out at, talking about every subject possible. Sometimes there's no way to avoid overhearing some of those conversations. Sometimes your only option is to walk out of the room temporarily to preserve your ability to experience a thing as it was intended, uninfluenced by anyone else's motives. Whether malicious or unintentional, spoilers are out there, and there is no way that we're all going to be able to get together and agree on what the proper amount of time after the release of a thing is that we can all start talking about the details. You have to protect yourself, protect your experience. Log out, turn off, avoid interaction at all costs, and get tickets or buy your copy as soon as you possibly can. Hey, we're still wrong. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, share this video near and far, left and right. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy. Thank you to all of you who have already contributed. You keep the lights on. And I don't know, maybe stay out of the comments on this one? There's gonna be a lot of nonsense down there. Enter at your own risk. Heads up, Darth Vader was Luke's father, Soylent Green is people, and Herbie does go bananas. I mean, straight up bananas. It's hard to watch.
Cut.